You guys should have been able to answer these questions by now in My Open Math. So you should have been able to identify your independent variable, your dependent variable, and maybe some different controls. And it's going to be different for different groups because not everybody's testing the same thing. So some of you yesterday said you were going to test the number of noodles. And so if that was you, then that would be your independent variable. And your dependent variable for everybody is going to be the number of marbles because that's how you're measuring the strength of the bridge. That's the actual measurement that you are taking. Okay, if you put strength of the bridge, you're on the right track too, so I would have counted that right also. But that is what you're trying to determine. You're measuring the strength of the bridge as a result of the independent variable that you are changing. So whether that was the number of noodles, whether that was the length of the bridge, whether that was the orientation of the noodles, whatever it may be. And then your control, those are the things that need to stay the same in order for you to get valid data. So again, if you're testing the number of noodles, then the gap between your bridge needs to be the same every time. You can't change both because then you don't know what is responsible for the results that you're getting. So you should have maybe a couple control variables. Maybe one of your controls is the same person is adding the marbles every time. I don't know that it would really make a difference, but different things that you can keep the same. Dropping them from the same height into the cup versus dropping it from up high. That could affect something. So things that you need to keep the same in order to get valid data. Those should be your control variables. Today you're going to perform the lab that you wrote yesterday. So hopefully you have those procedures that you wrote out. If not, go ahead and take them out. You're going to need them because that is what you are doing for pretty much the entire class period today. By the way, before I go on to the other slide with the directions, homework is going to be to submit the image of your whiteboard or poster for today, so that you're just going to submit a picture. So hopefully you get that done today. Now there is an option to either use a physical whiteboard, and if you brought expo markers, that would be a good option for you. But there is a digital whiteboard option as well, so I'll show you that in a second. The other homework assignment is to continue getting signatures on those Google Forms if you haven't yet done that. One of them was on paper, and several of you handed me that today, and that is this K letter. So if I already have your K letter, awesome. If not, that is also homework. So I need signatures on your K letter, your safety contract, the syllabus acknowledgement, and then there's another one for your parent to fill out that's just them telling me how they prefer to be contacted. I'll remind you where they are. Let me show you. Again, I handed you the paper yesterday, so that one's on paper. But the rest of them in a Schoology course are in this red folder that says Parent and Student Document folder. This is the K letter. Again, I prefer this on paper because they asked for that this year. This is a digital version of it. It won't hurt if you do both. It's not going to do anything. But this one right here is your safety contract. It needs your signature and your parent's signature. This one is the syllabus acknowledgement. It needs both your signature and your parent's signature. This one is the parent contact preferences form, and I just need your parent to fill that out. It doesn't need a signature. But those are the ones I'm talking about. If you turned in your entire K letters and you want to remember what the rest of it said, if you want to look at it later, it's here. You can look at it. These are PDF copies that you could print if you wanted to. You don't really need to print them because I gave you a copy of that one, but if you want to print out the syllabus or the K letter or the safety guide or the safety contract, you can. But I need the ones from you that are up here. I need the digital versions, okay, with the exception of the K letter. So that is what you are looking at today. For homework. Today's assignment is in the Unit 1 folder. It is down here, 103 Spaghetti Bridge Lab. It is due tonight by 11:59 p.m. And it has all of the directions for what you did yesterday, once it decides to load, as well as your instructions for today. So you can look at this. If yours is loading faster than mine, then you can look at it faster than me. But in this is also a link to a digital whiteboard option if you would prefer to do that. So if you're running behind in collecting your data and you're not even near ready to make a whiteboard by the end of the period, that's pretty much going to be your only option at that point, is either a digital whiteboard or getting together with your group outside of school. Okay, so I'll leave that up to you. I can't get this to load right now, though. Let me try to refresh it and see if it'll work. And if not, hopefully it's loading for you guys. I'm sure it'll work eventually. It's just not working right now. if it opens up, I'll bring it back over here and show you what it says. But all you're doing is submitting a picture. Okay, that's it. So here is your assignment for today. Return to your group from yesterday. Most of you are probably already sitting with them, but if you're not, you need to move. Take out the procedures that you wrote. I'm going to recommend that you don't spend any more than 15 minutes gathering and recording at least 4 data points, okay? And then creating a whiteboard for the remainder of the period. I have large whiteboards on the back counter that you guys can use. If you have your own expo markers, that would be a great option. I mean, I have a few, but if you have your own, that would be best. So that you can make a physical whiteboard or you can make a digital one. The link for the digital one is in Schoology. It finally opened, so let me show you what this looks like. So this is the assignment. This is what you did yesterday, day 1. Today we're on day 2. So you're going to perform the experiment and collect your data and then create a physical or digital whiteboard. It says right here, take a picture or screenshot of your whiteboard and submit. That's how you're turning in this assignment, is the picture. But this is the link for the digital whiteboard. So if you click that, it'll open up mathwhiteboard.com. Again, I'm waiting for it to, I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi or Schoology today. But this is what it's going to look like. Just click that X. And again, I'll probably have to wait for this to load now. So let me give that a second. I'll bring it back over here when it's done. But you're going to do that. So this is what needs to go on your whiteboard. Okay, again, it can be physical or digital. Your team name, so y'all can come up with a group name. It can be silly if you want, I don't care, whatever you want. Your individual names, so if y'all are like Team Cool, whatever, and then put your names. I don't know if you should use Team Cool, it's not very cool. But and then put your group member names. You're going to put your data on there. Again, we talked about this yesterday. A good way to organize data would probably be in a table rather than just writing out sentences. A graph of your data, so you're going to be plotting points on a graph. Identifying your independent, dependent variables, controls. We just did that in the warm-up, so that should be pretty easy. And then writing an equation for the line on your graph, okay, assuming that you get a best fit line. And then lastly, you're submitting a photo of your whiteboard in Schoology. So that is your assignment for today. So for right now, I just need you guys to get your procedures out, and then you can get started. When this digital whiteboard site finally loads, I'll pull it up there and show you what it looks like. But I would like you guys to get started so that you have enough time to collect your data. I'll go ahead and bring around some spaghetti noodles, and we'll get those passed out. If you want to send someone up to the front to get a cup, we can do that. And then, the whiteboard finally opened. Why does it have that on it? Well, I had an example on here, and it's not on there now, so that's not good. I'll mess with that in a second. But again, that's what needs to go on the whiteboard. I think in the assignment, maybe I have a picture of an example. I do not. I'll need to add that. I had an example in the digital whiteboard, and I think Mr. Boyd may have accidentally deleted it. All right, so let's go ahead and get our supplies so you can get started and get your data collected. Example up there, and then it got deleted. You guys have edit access to this, so please don't delete it. But if you are doing the digital one and you open it up, this is what you're going to see. Actually, what you're going to see is this, without that thing on the side. And so if you want to do a digital one, again, please don't mess with this one. Just click this little arrow right here, and there are other whiteboard pages. And so you can go here. Okay, and you can add your whiteboard here. If don't clear anybody else's. So if somebody else has one, just leave theirs alone and just make a new one. Or there's some down here. But if you need to add a new one, there's a little plus sign up here. You just click it, adds a new page. You can type text boxes. You can write with the stylus on the screen. You do not have to do this. In fact, it is easier, in my opinion, to simply write it on an actual whiteboard. Okay, but so you do not have to do a digital one, but you can. That is an option. The actual whiteboards are in the back corner, but again, this is what needs to be on it. your team name. So come up with a name for your group. I don't care what it is. Then your individual names. So you would put, Tyler, Ryan, whatever. Okay. Your data, a graph. Label your variables. Any control. Mathematical model means write an equation. If you have a line, you guys know how to write an equation for a line in slope-intercept form from your math class. Okay, so you're going to be doing that. Okay, that's what needs to go on it, and then you need to take a picture. If you have a physical whiteboard, you're going to take a picture. If you have a digital one, you're going to take a screenshot. But every person in your group needs to take that picture or screenshot because every person in your group needs to turn it in on Schoology. That's all you do is attach a picture. That's it. It can be the exact same picture. You're working together. It should be the exact same picture.
Can I use an exclamation?
Yes. Okay, as a heads up, we are on advisory schedule. Because we're on advisory, you guys have 5 minutes. That's it, 5 minutes left. So if you haven't started a whiteboard, digital might be the way to go. Yeah.